Welcome to Cartoonist Kayfabe Mailbag. And this week, want to thank Kevin Delgado for the thumbnail art. You guys can follow him on Instagram at frigid_giant. He is the creator of Volantis. And if you want to see your art used as our thumbnail for the mailbag, you can make it 1280 pixels wide by 720 pixels high. Email it to
cartoonist.kayfabe@gmail.com. That was Jim Rugg speaking. I'm Ed Piskor, and we got a whole lot of mail to cover, man. I think your Kickstarter just lapsed, though, right?
Yes. Yeah. First thing I want to do is just thank everybody for supporting that Kickstarter. Big success, more successful than I expected. So thank all of you for spreading the word, sharing it. I've seen lots of very positive posts to that effect, and I appreciate all of that. And now I am going to work making all the stuff for the Kickstarter. So I actually sent some files to the printer earlier this week, so I didn't even wait for the Kickstarter to end to get the ball rolling on that front. But again, just thank you to everybody for all the support, the well wishes, the sharing of it. Overwhelmed by the response, and I thank you all for that very much. So October on in 1976, it's happening, and it is now into the green light make stage, which is my favorite part of this process.
And by the way, when you're talking about make, you're talking about all this like ancillary material because the comic is done.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking printing. I'm talking like pass it off to the professionals now to make this book the masterpiece that I dream of it being. So yeah, the artwork's all done. It's ready to go to the printer. I will be tallying up numbers and making those arrangements starting tomorrow.
Super happy for you, man. Super proud of you. Proud that the Kayfabe audience came through, showed up in a big way,
Big
man.
time.
It makes the whole enterprise. We see the value in it.
Yeah, so thank you all for that, man. I am looking forward to making this thing real and sharing it with the world.
Yeah, man. And just real quick, I'm serializing my Red Room comic on my Patreon. I had a piece of art floating around, but I can't find it. One of the latest pieces, man. But 20 or so pages are up there right now. Slide new pages out every Tuesday. Super brutal, super violent, gory, all sorts of bad shit.
Outlaws Outlaw comics.
Yeah. We're going hardcore these days, man. There's a lot of soft comics out there, so we got to do something to upset that balance a little bit. We got a lot of comics to talk about.
We do, man. Let's dive in.
Got lots of mail. Let's start off with Jacob Covey, the incredible graphic designer maestro at Fantagraphics. Sent us a box that made me nervous because it said fragile liquid inside or something like that. But we know Jacob Covey.
We do. He is a man of exquisite taste,
Yes.
a designer that I revere. And when I say exquisite taste, I mean every way possible, because he's also manufacturing hot sauce. And I can't wait to try this.
Taking a page out of the great video game heel Billy Mitchell's playbook.
Yes.
And manufacturing his own hot sauce with incredible graphic design.
Of course.
On the bottles, man. Even down to the bottle shape.
Get a nice glance at that graphic on the front. That's what you want in your hot sauce, is a freaking poisonous snake ready to bite you back.
Here's the thing, though, Jimmy, man. There's only 3, so we're each going to come out with one, and then we got to draw straws for the other.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Ed. I actually can't handle too hot of hot sauce,
Yeah.
so we may have to read up on which ones are the really hot ones, and maybe I'll go home with the more mild variety. But very awesome, man. And I'm sure you can find this stuff online. It is Hassa is the name of his company, so check that out. And Jacob Covey, man, come on the show sometime and tell us about design and making comics. Making some of the best comics best looking comics and books I've seen in the last 20 years.
There's a before and after at Fantagraphics when Jacob Covey comes on the scene, and the way that you could tell very easily without cracking the book open, especially if it's a series of books and you see them on a bookshelf, just see if that spine lettering is even on amongst all the books. If it's a little askew, that's pre-Jacob Covey, with the exception of Hip Hop Family Tree, which was fucked up by somebody else.
Well, thank you very much, Jacob. All right. Going to start out here from Jim Stewart, and I don't see anything but an email for contact, so we'll dive into his comics and see.
Pass me the pile, and I'll pass things your way.
Start out with these mini comics of Ganja Man. What's the proper term here, Ed?
Fuck if I know, man.
So apparently strips about marijuana hero, it looks like. full color minis. And you know what? This is that mini comic format where you slice one page to make it into the mini comic, but done with 11 by 17 paper, it looks like. Unless things are, oh, you know what? They might be glued together. Maybe.
Interesting.
But it would be an interesting way to make one of these mini comic variations of that very popular format. And 3 volumes of this.
The format of this is cool because it looks like an old ass comic. Was Gunjaman? I mean, it has Freak Brothers. Like, what are we looking at here? 2017.
And you know what? He's writing from Scotland, and I guess got turned on to our show from the Mark Miller interview.
We got a lot of packages from across the pond.
Interesting.
Today.
Yeah, so this is like the full-size version and an anthology, because here we have the Freak Brothers, and it's Gilbert Shelton's Freak Brothers.
I'm just looking close to see if he's hip to Photoshop. Nice.
There you go, man. Some outlaw comics from Scotland. Wow, this looks nice. I like this a lot. This artist looks like that's right out of the underground era.
They need to push the envelope though, man, because like weed is passe at this point. Like let's get the hair on comics and like
hair on man.
The fucking meth.
This is nice, man. This is nice production. And an article on the Freak Brothers, their stop action movie that's, I feel like, been in the work almost as long as the comic.
You always see the photos.
We're gonna see it someday. Yeah, this is good stuff. Thanks, Jim. And it's a few issues, some pins, and man, several of these issues. This is interesting. It's an adult, full-color adult comics anthology series. So Ganja Man presents, everybody. And I don't see a website, but I feel like you could probably find it with this information. And again, Jim Stewart from Glasgow. Awesome. Good start.
Now, is this envelope associated with this package?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. So, here's the deal, man. Every show is surprise and a delight. Keep them coming. Also, Jim encloses the bowling strips and something else. I decided to try to stump the kayfabe after all. Let me know on the air if I succeeded. If not, cut a promo. And this is what he would be talking about. And I don't know about that old Kevin Nolan comic, so it stumped me.
Well, let's start here. Bolin strips. Brian Bolin, this collection of Brian Bolin comic strips. Ed, do you have this book?
You know, I may or may not. I don't remember. It's come across my radar a bunch of times, and I think
it looks absolutely stunning. I don't have it. We had emailed a little bit. Kevin had emailed me about it, and so I'm very excited to actually sit down with this because it looks very nice.
Yeah, you see these super rough ones. Like, you always would hear that he got started in British Underground mags and shit. And that's what you're getting with some of that, with some of these gimmicks.
That's awesome, though, man. I like how these look.
You know, one-pagers. Yeah, it's rough. It's raw. Like,
yeah, very cartoonish.
You get to see him play.
Some of these ran in Caliber. Like one of the Caliber Negative Burn, maybe, their anthology. But I really like that character.
Yeah, for sure.
Drawing.
That's Tad Martin.
Awesome. This is the other book that was in there, the one that he's trying to stump us with, Jan Strnad.
Jan Strnad.
All right, and Kevin Nolan. And early Kevin Nolan, I have an issue or two of this. I can't remember who.
Oh, it's
original
specific.
edits by Gary Groth.
Oh, okay.
So maybe Fantagraphics or appeared in an anthology of Fantagraphics, but it's Kevin Nolan, and it's Kevin. I don't know if Kevin Nolan ever had like some awkward beginning phase because it looks great. It's prime Kevin Nolan doing black and white line art. Just beautiful, you know, like this would be a fun one. Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, man, look how good this stuff is. Is there a Mike Mignola without something like this? You know, it's he's great. So love Kevin Nolan. That's a good one.
All right, man. We got a bibliography.
All right.
From
TikTok Tom.
TikTokTom1word.com. This comes from Canada, Ontario.
And a few different versions of this work. This is a like horizontal landscape kind of layout. Looks like about comic book size, except that it's bound on the you know, what would be the short side. That's pretty awesome. All those wells. I like this art. It has a texture to it that makes the black and white nice. It's kind of a pseudo screen tone.
Yeah.
You know, and it varies in size. I don't know how well that shows up on screen, but it's not all flat grays. Like, these are different size dot patterns and line patterns that do kind of capture that sense of screen tone that I love. Yeah. Although I suspect it's being done digitally, still very cool looking. There's also a couple of these there are comic book sizes, there are mini comics, and then there's a massive like inch thick book, and that is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, great paper.
When are you from, man? This is impressive.
Yeah, it is.
This is in 1995. There are 3 issues of this, and I am unfamiliar with this black and white book, Ed.
Paper aged well.
Look at how great even like the page layouts. This is awesome. Is it the creator? Is that who sent us this?
That would be
Chetan Patel?
Chetan Patel, yes.
Awesome. Well done, Chetan. I'm excited to go through those a little bit more closely. And I don't know if this is, this continues story and art by him, 2008. So covering over a decade between issues for this, or between at least these 2 issues. I like seeing these guys' evolution. Man, that's a nice page too. Chetan Patel, man, nice looking work. And then this is, 2018 is the cover date, 2020 inside. And art and story, Chetan Patel and Tom Yeo with Peter Meshone. TikTokTom.com, and this is the big substantial, I guess, collection. Man, there's a lot of work here.
Yeah.
This is 20 years of 25 years of comics we have dates on.
5
from this
pounds
stuff.
of comics, and I don't know if they use the metric system up there.
How much does this look like Turtles, early Mirage Turtles with the grayscales?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Rough,
Good looking
rugged, and
stuff,
raw.
man.
Rough, rugged, and raw. Paul Benincasa is sending us King Surf Comics. Going to be able to get King Surf Comics at his Etsy shop, King Surf Comics, on Instagram.
Got several issues of this series on some different papers and covers and variations. So we'll take a flip here through issue number 1. It's a 2020 copyright on the inside cover. It's Elvis against like a giant Bigfoot, I think.
So it is. Chris Daros will publish that.
With a little bit of a strange spot color choice. Not real spot color, but spotty color. How about that? In a black and white book, little bits of color. And then it looks like there's more color here as we get deeper into the series. So King Surf, some sort of a fantasy story, apparently. I like the color. Look at that color. Isn't that strong for a like a mini comic ash can kind of thing?
Yeah, it's great.
It's monochrome, but
You think that's
nice.
inkjet?
Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, probably inkjet, but it's a good choice. You're making mini comics and you're printing them yourself. Why not mix it up? We've talked about people that'll do like a risograph or something and have a color ink. So mix it up a little bit. And there is your Instagram if you're looking for more King Surf comics.
Gotta show off the envelope to this
Yes.
sucker. Always appreciate some cool envelope art. And this is coming to us, I believe, from Reed Chancellor.
Man, that's cool.
Thanks for all the great content, both on the channel and in our comics. It's been a huge inspiration, see different artists and techniques, and recently got its first 2 books published, Hardcore Anxiety and Rock and Roll Terrorist, a graphic bio of the late, great Gigi Allen.
Wow.
I'm very interested in that. Let's see. R&R Terrorist will be out later this year and available pre-order by way of Microcosm Publishing. Books have been sent during. Hold up. The books I have sent have been my quarantine workload.
Wow. If this is all being produced in quarantine, man, I think this dude has a future.
Even used some screen tones for the first time.
Nice. That's Aquabats. Henry Rollins is not amused. An art zine. That's so funny. How many zines have been made about Henry Rollins?
It's easy to do.
Sad Religion. This is a really nice feeling book. Have a feel of that, Ed. This is a well-produced mini comic right here. Nice paper. That off-white paper, we talked about that in the past.
Super pleasing to my eyes.
Looks good and feels good. Nice lettering.
Yeah, congrats, Reed. Look forward to seeing that Gigi
Well
Allen
done.
book.
And got to go through the Popeye. Old Man Popeye. This is another good looking one.
Yeah, it is.
Nice big oversized format. Same deal with the paper and stuff. Looks and feels good. And Popeye looks good as an old man.
Yeah.
That's a good Popeye. This is
Real
like
Gabby Hayes, kind of like
the Dark Knight version of Popeye.
a few too many teeth, man.
That's good stuff. Nice work, Reed.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, man.
We've got a little package here, Pause, by Kurt Burdick.
All right. Gotta love that. Start off with some Warlock 5.
I may or may not have that issue, by the way.
Well, you have it now, and we get to show off his art for a second before we get into Kurt's book, because this is the way into my heart. I dig this stuff. We've talked about it in the past. Dennis Bove, I believe, is the way you say it. But look at how of the 80s this kind of imagery is.
Yes.
And he
By
did
the
like
way,
15 issues of this.
they are running a Kickstarter right now that may or may not be up to try to collect all of Warlock 5 into a single edition. So pledge some dollars to that.
This book is such a mashup of 80s stuff. Like that's the A-Team van. As far as I'm concerned, that's the A-Team van. But this is fun stuff. That Kickstarter that you just mentioned, Ed, is also includes an issue or two that was not published by Dennis Bovis. So if you're a fan of Dennis Bove like I am, that's a fun Kickstarter to look out for. This looks gorgeous.
Yes, and this is Kurt's book. If you want a copy or you want to dig more into his stuff, this title right here, Fey Archaic, one word, on Instagram, you're gonna find Kurt's.
This cover is stunning.
Yeah.
It is absolutely stunning art. I don't know how well it shows up, but the fine line detail on this is just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Gorgeous. Way to go. Way to go, Kurt, man. Thank you for sending this. I'm in awe.
Wow. I think the term pre-Raphaelite is used for art that looks similarly, but I don't know what that means.
Gorgeous. I love this color too, like that light green and then whatever's happening in this panel, man. Wow.
Good lettering.
This
Awesome
is
design.
The coloring's phenomenal. It's impressive to be this strong in terms of line art,
Yeah.
and also to be equally strong in color.
I like it. I love it. And I guarantee you, if you send one to Charles Vess, he'd probably write forward on the reprint
This
edition.
is phenomenal. Is Kurt doing everything himself? Because if he's drawing and coloring this himself, I tip my hat to you, Kurt. Just beautiful stuff. Look forward to sitting down with this, man. Wow. And thankfully, he sent us 2 of them.
Yeah, great.
Very awesome.
Yeah, once again, that's Fey Archaic on Instagram. You'll be able to find it and keep up and potentially get access to a link to order this motherfucker, man. Let's hit this with some kayfabe effect, man. Got to support good-looking books.
Man, this book is something. I haven't seen anything that looks like this, maybe ever, in one of our mailbags. So, very cool.
Crime World,
sweet.
coming from Dave King.
Love Dave King. Shout outs Dave King. Thank you for sending this to me, because otherwise I would have had to have ordered it from you. Known Dave King for a while, and just love his comics, man. He does a lot of different stuff. Some sites where you can find him: reliablecomics.com.
Gentlebooks.com too, and here's his Instagram info.
And here's a sample of some of what you can expect. He does this like classic influenced cartooning style. It's funny comics, but in this case, like they're crime stories. So it's a little bit of a mashup of styles, but I just think it's strong cartooning and very entertaining stories. So glad to see. I think this is the second time David King has sent us some books. So I think he's back on the making comics wagon, which is where I want him. So awesome, man. Thank you. And kind of a cool little centerfold for everybody.
The episodes he dug as per sending this to us, man. Lobo, Trashman, Love and Rockets, Groth, Glandsman, 2001 Adzine. And he implores us, more please.
Nice. Well, you too, David, man. Keep making comics. I love seeing new David King comics.
And then Jim.
I think his previous thing, he had done a couple of bigger, like magazine sizes, like Hercules Unchained or Unbound or something. Wow, Tim Tyler in the house.
But guess what? Like, this ain't even from Tim Tyler. This is from Todd Terrell. Here's some comics for you guys. House of Evil, one I illustrated by a friend of mine named Mike Beckelman. Stain.
Dude, House of Evil looks good.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So this is written and illustrated by Michael Bockelman, and that looks nice, Michael. I'm glad you thought of us.
No. This is sent to us by Todd, and he's
Okay.
he's just kicking us up some fresh comics, man. Let's see.
How about that, Joe Vigil?
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm just looking at some of the names popping up here. Stain, the book was created by Mike Beckelman. Also, there were 3 covers. One drawn by Frank Brunner,
That's this one.
inked by Vigil, and colored by Tim Tyler. The second one done by Vigil and Joe Vigil. And the third done exclusively by the great Tim Tyler, who's going to make another appearance later on this mailbag episode.
Dude, look at this Michael Bockelman art. Is strong,
Oh,
man.
yeah, that's so dope, man.
It is really good black and white art.
Yeah, it makes me curious about him. Like, is he a creative son of the Tim Tyler, Tim Vigil school? Sort of like the shit that we've been rocking lately.
It's got to be, right? I mean, if he's
He might be a peer of theirs. Who knows?
I guess so. Yeah, that's possible. This is a Joe Vigil story, Drive-In, by David Barber and Joe Vigil. Haven't seen any Joe Vigil new art in a long time, so that's pretty awesome.
Says he would like to see us do a shoot interview with Tim Tyler, and I would be fully down for that.
Yeah, Kubert. I don't know if he graduated from Kubert School, but definitely attended Kubert School. Tim Tyler, and then I think this last story, Blood Rain, written and illustrated by Tim Tyler. So
Love it, man.
very cool.
The great Blood Rain, man. It had like at least a 8-issue arc
Yeah,
back in
look
the
how
day.
good that face and eyeball and stuff are.
Yeah, it's very arresting imagery, man. Fuck you up.
Yeah, good stuff. Very cool. And then this is Tim Tyler's, one of the things that he's been self-publishing, Tim Vigil cover. So that's pretty cool. He's been running these through Kickstarter. Speaking of Kickstarters, I believe he has one up right now, Tim Tyler. And I often will have kind of a cover variation with Tim Vigil or something to that effect, some different things you can check out there. And one of the books that he does is this like exploitation drive-in theater kind of thing where it's a bunch of short stories of all these like cool high concepts that would be right in line with 70s drive-in movie kind of stuff. Boy, that looks badass. Yeah,
Yeah, these guys know how to sling some ink, man.
really cool stuff. Very awesome. Thank you.
That's so Julian. Let's see who sent this. Greetings from Portugal. Hope you like the books I made. This one's about Julian Assange as a guest at the Ecuadorian embassy.
Wow.
And the other is the first issue of a neo-noir 6-issue miniseries.
Where did you...
This is coming from Portugal, and the cartoonist might be named Augie or Angie.
It's good cartooning. It's another one of those, like, it's a little bit smaller than standard comic, but feels good. It's the right size. Angela Guyton.
Okay, it's Angie.
Okay, Angie. Written and drawn by Angie Guyton. Edited by Rodrigo Constanzo and Dan Dirks, 2019.
This comes from Portugal.
I don't see any contact info, but that's a fun subject for a comic. And then this is art by Angela Guyton, written by Jason Chestnut. Greetings from Zero Town.
Yeah, neo-noir, man. That's a new term to me, and I look forward to seeing
Pretty
what
cool.
that means.
Miami, 1926. 4 weeks before the storm. That's a good setup. It really, some foreshadowing to what's to come. Man, this stuff looks good too. Same artist.
Make sure you finish those 6 issues, man. If you start teasing us like this, man, you gotta make good on your promise.
It's really nice art. Wonder what the cartooning scene is like in Portugal.
Yeah, I'm curious too. A lot of heavy metal cartoonists have come from there, I think.
Nice. All right. Thank you very much, Angela. Angela, is that who sent it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice work too, Angela. Looks good. Pen juice. That's funny.
Here's some more pen juice.
I'm on board for that. Ryan Johnson, cartoonist.
Yep. Student cartooning based in San Jose. Goes to San Jose State University for animation / illustration. He says that's not relevant to us, man, but it's pretty relevant.
I enjoy knowing what's going on and where. Hey, nice comics. Good stuff, Ryan. Nice to see hand lettering too. Oh, you know what? This is an Inktober gimmick, I think.
Yeah,
It
that
says
one.
Inktober edition. He did comics for Inktober. Look at how good this page is if you're thinking of these, like, I don't know, journal or dash off or short strips or whatever. Well done.
Gives us shouts, man, for introducing him to Eleanor Davis.
Oh man, everybody should know Eleanor Davis's work. She did a neo-noir. Her last graphic novel was kind of a neat, would be classified as neo-noir, black and white. I forget the name of it, but it's a good-looking book and a fun story. I don't want to give anything away. There's some good surprises in it with guns and stuff.
That's a cool looking piece.
I like this panel conceit, the airplane windows.
Yes. Eisnerian.
Yeah, dudes used to do that a lot more than they do now, and sometimes it works better than other times. Yeah, good looking stuff, man. Pen Juice, Autobio comics. They look good, Ryan. Not an easy thing to do all the time.
Combat Fairies. Dylan Moore.
Stories to shock.
Recently found our channel by way of searching for Savage Dragon on YouTube.
Good, we're putting out the signals.
Yeah. Outhouse Cartoons on Instagram, or go to the website outhousecartoons.com if you want some more, what are they called? Combat Fairies?
Combat Fairies. I like this stuff. It looks very different than everything else we've looked at. It has a little bit of that anime manga kind of style to it.
Little Barry Blair.
Yeah, yeah, man. Barry Blair Outlaw Comics for the new century. Guess it's not that new anymore, but
Yeah, we're just old.
there you go. Well, Barry Blair's old. How about that?
That's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, real poppy colors.
And Stories to Shock, 2 issues of that. Black and white horror comics, I'm guessing. Very good. All right. What is next?
Glad you asked, man.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Big Blue Jugs of Justice.
Comes from Mace Corrigan Esquire.
Wow.
You know what I like about this existing is just when I was in Japan, this is a whole industry unto
Yes.
itself beyond, the manga that you could get at your regular shop. And there's just not that much of that kind of thing in America. So all things being equal, why not have some crazy shit like this?
I'm with you, Ed. And this actually feels good. Like for a book, it's a pretty professional feeling. Introduction by Mace Corrigan, and then we're off and running. There were a couple other names on the cover. I don't know who's doing what exactly. So, okay, written by Mace Corrigan, art and colors by Portal Comic. And these are ridiculous, but they do have a polished look that's kind of funny.
Yeah, so something tells me that they might be using a nom de plumes, man, to pump up their studio staff.
You may be right.
An old school comic
You
book
may be right.
lingo.
But it's good looking. Here's a page I think I can show. I could show this page to my mother, I think, and it looks good. Like it's well drawn. It's well colored. You get to this.
We're gonna be flipping for this one, right, Jimmy?
We are Big Blue. Very fun.
Eric Harris sent us a comic. One-Eyed Jack's Revenge. Crack that fucker open. Longtime viewer, subscriber, you guys are the truth. That's true. One-Eyed Jack's Revenge. Throwback to 70s blaxploitation flicks and 80s action movies. Started as a short film and morphed into a comic book.
I like the cover. I like page 1.
He's the writer. Eric Harris is the writer. The joint artist, Dino Agor.
Dude, it looks good.
Oh yeah, that's sick as fuck, man. Yeah, that's real dope.
Found a good artist for this book, man.
Get a better font.
It's neat to see it go from the movie to the comic rather than the other way around. Like everybody, I think, aspires to do it the other way.
Well, I don't know that this is much different in that respect. It's like you try to sell the movie script. Oh, that didn't work. We'll make a comic and then try to sell the movie. But at least got
Could
a good
be.
artist on the
Yeah,
docket.
I would like more comics like this. However they get made is fine. I like the cover too.
It's a poster of that big black
Ah,
piece. Very
good.
Galassi vibe to it.
Yeah, you're not going to get any complaints from me for a Galassi vibe.
Yeah. All right, man. Villain verse.
Man, Man, this might be the shiniest comic I have ever seen. And I lived through the gimmick cover, tinfoil, gold foil cover era, and this still might be the shiniest comic. This is amazing.
Coming from Alfredo Morales, San Diego.
Do you remember talking to Chris Pitzer once, and it was about the idea of having like it would look like a liquid, is how he described this one cover concept and how it would be printed. To me, this is that. It almost looks wet.
Yeah, yeah. Like the thing about the Pitzer thing, and you could explore it if you fuck with Cancor, is it almost like feels wet. And how do you do that with, dry materials?
This looks pretty good. I don't know about the font here either. Man, lettering is such another challenge that we don't give enough attention to, I think, when people talk comics, because it's hard lettering. It's like coloring. Like, it's a big variable.
If you want to go basic and have something with not too much flourish, man, buy the Astro City font. I think it's Blambot. I'm not sure. Could be Comic Craft. But type in Astro City font. That's like the most basic, passable font you could get. And that's what these fonts... That's what some of these fonts try to be.
Yeah, I don't hate this one. The one I was complaining about the most is it's small in some places.
Sure, yeah.
But I like the overall, like, there's an aesthetic here. Like, there's a whole package.
It would be
this comic is.
This would be a slave labor book if slave labor was still, like...
I really like how this book feels. Mm-hmm. This is one that I would track down this person and be like, tell me about your covers.
Right.
Where you get those covers done?
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that is badass.
That's the price of admission right there, man. Chainsaw head, dude.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break.
Riding like a Jack Kirby, like one of those New Gods kind of gimmicks.
Little sleds.
Look at that too, man. The car that he's going off to face is equally impressive with that grill.
Yeah, a lot of good designs in here.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cartoony. I like the black and white balance. Some of the sound effects lettering looks hand-drawn, and I'm really on board with that. But I tell you what I need to know, Alfredo. We need to have a talk about these covers and how I can get some of these covers, because that is the shit. And this is what I would do, like at SPX when I walk through and I'm picking stuff up and whatever. You want to come home with some things where you're like, I need to know how to make that. I need to know how to make this cover. This is a good-looking book. Very nice.
All right, man. Josh from Grand Rapids, your package has come.
Awesome.
Crack those open and I'll read this letter while you're working on that piece. But he sent us a package that it didn't show up for whatever reason. As you said, bummer, the original package got lost. There's some cool stuff from other Grand Rapids cartoonists, and original Street Angel fan art in a strip featuring Ed and Jim Shooter. That was intended to be his comic. Let's see. But why mourn? Made a comic that would not exist without the Kayfabe community. Sold the pages in advance to fund the printing.
Interesting. Dude, this is nice cartooning, man.
Oh yeah, he's dope. Yeah, he's the truth, man.
Yeah, these pages look great.
Yeah,
wow.
No, his shit is ill. Kinko's ash cans. Made in October about a memorial gathering that goes riot during a pandemic. Oddly timely, but not intentionally. So he foresaw all this shit.
Wow. He's telling the future, man. Look at that for a drawing, Ed. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that should be on the back of some pinball back glass or something.
Yeah. This comic looks great. Way to go, Josh.
Good textures, man. I like that flannel.
Page layouts are on point. Yeah, this is another one. Look forward to sitting down and reading this thing. Way to go, Josh. Or Joshua, if you prefer Joshua. Dig it. Looks awesome. And one for Tom. Tom thanks you.
And that's where you can find Josh.
I'm hoping that the original package turns up at some point, especially with the promise of some Street Angel art inside.
All right, man. We got to call... The Outlaw Comics spotlight has shone in the sky, and we've been summoned, man. Because the great Tim Tyler sent us a package, and he says that he needs the Kayfabe effect, man. He's got a Kickstarter campaign going on for Bolt Action #2. It's going on right this minute. Type Tim Tyler, type Bolt Action. You'll find the Kickstarter. I fully endorse his comics, man. Like, I freaking dug his entire body of work starting in the fucking 80s.
Yes, and he was one of the guys that I know shared my Kickstarter around, so thank you for that, Tim. But Bolt #2 is what's up, It has work by Vigil, Linsner, and himself. So that's a pretty good pedigree.
Yeah, and I guess this will be some of the pages that will be in that motherfucker.
Yes. Yeah, see, this is this like this framing device is that these stories exist as like these exploitation movies. And I mean, are you going to do better than that for an exploitation theme art? It's a good fit. It's a good concept. And hey man, self-publishing grindhouse exploitation comics, I am on board for that.
Oh yes.
Look at that.
We got
The Possession of Stalingrad. This could be an Octobriana chapter.
yeah, the sexy Russian agent provocateurs.
Mother Teresa 2099. Ginger Sin. Wow.
These guys, man, endless.
Tim Taylor's been doing this for a while, man. He started in the 80s, so we're going to have to do some diving into some of his work.
Shown off a bunch of his work already, man, but we could definitely crack these things open individually.
That's amazing. This is so great because here's another Ginger Sin vehicle. It's almost like Gilbert Hernandez. His actresses are rolling through different movies. Man, that's awesome. So, guys, that stuff is live now. Tim Taylor Kickstarter.
Tim Tyler.
Tim Tyler Kickstarter up right now for Bolt Action #2. So go give him some kayfabe effect because we want Tim Tyler to keep making comics.
Got an interesting one here, man. It comes from Walker Metling, Providence, Rhode Island, and touch
Yes.
this and tell me if you think that's like a
It's
print.
screen printed. This is a screen print 100%.
So we got to somehow open this up
And I hope the inside looks like this cover.
without destroying this beautiful package.
Yeah, you're going to be
you know?
responsible for your own because that is not going to be not going to happen very easily. See, especially whenever we got to do it on camera, so we can't have everybody waiting too long while we do this.
Right.
It's like
You know what?
surgery.
You know what? It's not bad. It's a good, not too tacky kind of tape.
Whenever the Plain Janes, when I got my first copies,
Yeah.
like the advanced copies, Little Brown had gift wrapped each one and sent me like 2, advanced, like right off the plane, I guess. And it was such a cool bonus to get like unwrap them. Hey, this is awesome.
Yeah, it looks
This is
great.
a screen printed cover. You guys don't know it at home because I'm touching it, but it feels amazing and it looks so cool.
Wow.
This looks stunning. This has to be risograph, I'm guessing, for this interior printing. Oh man, very, very awesome. Little mini comic, like bound within the pages. Look at the production of this stuff.
All right, here's what you got. Here's what you got in the mixture.
Oh yeah, good.
Okay, so cool. There's the image, right?
Excellent.
And here's where you get this stuff. Instagram. Wipe out. 3 times. All one word, no spaces or underscores or anything like that. Wipe out. We'll take a look inside, man. If you dig it, man.
Yeah.
Guys, scoop this up. This is
I am
worth-
on board.
This is worth
Wipeout 6. So apparently they've done this anthology before. 200 pages, handmade in Providence, 20 artists, cheap.
Good pedigree. Give my
This is
little color
awesome.
argument. Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, there's not a slouch piece.
Yeah, these look beautiful.
And,
Wow.
And furthermore, I think they silk screen the box, so that's a great extra touch.
Yeah, I hate to give away every single page, but man, every page I've seen so far has looked really good. Kevin Hoyman, I believe I know Kevin Hoyman. I forget the name of his book. I have some of his comics though, but this is really, really sharp. This is a UK artist, so it's not limited to Providence. Wow, people make the coolest shit. I love seeing this kind of stuff. This will be on my nightstand tonight. I'll be reading this thing for the next several nights, probably.
Yeah, congratulations. And this is the 6th.
Caitlin Calley. This is a Rhode Island. I was looking at this and trying to figure out, like, there's little shades of Matt Brinkman in there. Not
sure.
quite, but it makes sense that this is somebody coming out of that Rhode Island area.
Yeah, man, like Fort Thunder looms large.
Ooh, how nice that is. That's almost that drawing where you could see like an old woman or a young woman, depending on the profile. This is neat. This is that same lettering that we pointed out in the David Cho comics, where it's like typeset somehow, you know, printed out and then cut up and assembled onto the artwork. Yeah. This is awesome. Thank you guys for sending this. Thank you for making this.
Totally. I was going to say, congratulations on
Look at all like the extra stuff that's in this.
These motherfuckers ain't playing.
No.
These guys ain't playing.
Very awesome.
You know that speaks to my heart.
Yeah. Typography. We talk about lettering all the time. There you go. This is what you can do with lettering. All right. That is awesome. One more quickie here for you. Wipeoutstore.storeenvy.com or Instagram wipeout. Definitely worth I'm sure a follow at the very least, because that's a damn nice looking book.
All right, Jimmy. It's time to go through
Oh boy.
some pure payola gimmicks, I think.
Yep.
There's an Ed book there, which is Gray Volume 2. There's a Jim book. It's
Very
full
cool.
of kitty cats.
Yeah, we've looked at a couple volumes of Gray in the past. I've never seen this collection, Ed. I don't know who published. This is Viz. Yeah, it is Viz, and it must be an early one. I'm always interested in like these early, how they were trying to figure out to package manga.
Yeah.
1997, not as early as I thought.
Very interesting that it takes 2 volumes, but then you realize that those volumes are 64 pages.
Yeah.
The issues are 64 pages apiece. So this is the second half of Gray. And if you take a look on my bookshelf there, you see the Kamuis. Like, that's the complete 30 issues of Kamui are in those 2 volumes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. I always thought about binding Kamui.
In different order, by the way. Like, what's in issue 1 of Kamui is not the page 1 of...
So, Bill Blackbeard, one of the comic saints.
Very important.
So much of what I think of as comics history, and especially comic strip history, Bill Blackbeard was a huge piece of preservation of that stuff and promotion of that stuff. And then forward by Jim Davis. I don't know what this is, but I think I'm going to dig it.
And Jim Davis probably didn't even write that shit.
Oh, don't say that. This is 1981, so this is an early collection of cat comics.
Isn't the greatest crime ever when you're talking about comics to accidentally sometimes confuse Jim Davis and Jack Davis's name in conversation? You never confuse the art, but sometimes you might say Jack Davis.
This is cool, man. Cicero's cat I've never heard of, so there's at least some Pussycat Princess, some stuff I've never heard of in here.
Yeah, probably
Spooky.
lots.
This is great.
And Bill Blackbeard's the guy that would find the shit and know about this kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, I believe when he died and his collection went to the Billy Ireland, 3 tractor-trailer trucks of newspaper comic that he had preserved.
We're talking about those 18-wheelers, ladies and gentlemen.
That's like I said, man, as comics fans, we all owe him a debt because he certainly preserved some stuff that nobody else really did.
These are the ones we're going to be fighting over.
Caravan Kid. This is, I think, early Dark Horse. Dark Horse comics. I don't know about early, but this was Dark Horse manga.
Torrin Smith doing the translation.
Yeah, 1997, so comparable to that Gray collection. And I've never read Caravan Kid. Do you know this series?
No, I don't.
It's so fascinating, like the little bits of manga that start to leak in early on. You know, like now we live in this era of like, you can find whatever you hear of. Where are our eyes?
Oh, these are her eyes, man. There it is, the assistant being tasked with drawing a submarine for the bulk of the day.
Look at that interesting sky texture.
Yeah, you know what might be doing that? I had this like ruler that would almost like it would have an ink cartridge.
Yeah.
And you would roll it, and it would have these dots.
Huh.
Yeah, I have no idea what that would really be for, but I forget. Somebody in Brooklyn gave it to me when I was at Mocha.
That sounds weird. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. Tool.
Jason Shithead was the cartoonist name in Brooklyn who uses that to get his gray textures.
Interesting format here. So, I don't know. Maybe not. I was thinking that it was much more narrow than a comic, but it's about the same.
Yeah, I think it's optical illusion with this.
Yeah, that must be
Is making it
it
look
feels
skinny.
very thin, but I guess not. Venus Wars. This is nice. It's kind of a newsprint that this is printed on.
Yeah, sure.
I like the cartooning here, too. I also haven't read Venus Wars. A lot of this stuff I haven't, I haven't.
And that's the beauty, like whenever we go out and get those dollar bins or whatever, I'll grab any manga and,
Nice
and fuck
covers.
with it, just to see if it's my vibe.
Dave Johnson cover.
Wow.
Brian Stelfreeze.
Yeah, man, they
Trying to figure out,
they
how
got
do you
the-
package this?
They got the Georgia boys to do some
Gaijin
work.
Studios. Yep. And then Star Wars Underworld.
Stolen from the library.
Carlos Meglia, Mike Kennedy script. And I have no idea. Ed, this one looks like yours. Aren't you a big Star Wars guy?
All right, man. One more box. One more box of goodness. Let's just see what they're saying here.
Starting off strong.
Hey guys, love your comics and love the show. Proud to be a Kayfaber. Here from Queens, New York, going through a bunch of old books while under
Wow,
quarantine
dude.
/ curfew. Thought you might enjoy some of these. A lot of outlaw stuff, some indies, and a couple thrown in for comic relief. Keep putting out your great shit. This is coming from Brian Prouse Gainey.
Nice stuff, Brian. Somebody's got good taste.
Yeah, man. Some Corbins.
Steve Bissett, Mr. Monster cover.
Is that
Night
Hannibal,
Vision?
Is that Hannibal King?
I think this might be Vigil.
Oh, we're getting mad. What you call it? Rebel Studios.
Ooh, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. We're gonna have fun looking at that.
Little Joe
nice.
Vigil issue.
Oh man, these James O'Barr books.
Some
That
Edward
is a treat.
Hartzos.
This is some Vigil interiors too.
And we were talking about Tim Tyler earlier, man. Here's Tim Vigil, Tim Tyler, and Gary Amaro, the cartoonist behind Fat Ninja, all collaborating on a color first comic.
Hilarious. That's a combo. Those Gunfighters in Hell are pretty hard to come by.
Some rare total bin.
Yeah, pull out any of this stuff if you want to flip through it.
There's more.
Oh, okay. I'll keep trying to unmask things.
Thumping Guts. You ever hear of that?
I did, yeah. This is in the Ronin Bebop, the Kevin Eastman book that recently came out. Thumping Guts is in there, so it's a Biz Kevin Eastman team up.
Ribbed. This is another one of the Tom Palmer Jr. Recommendation.
Is it really?
One of those sidebar ones, not one of the main.
Not a main feature?
No. Uh-oh. I see some comic relief. I see some comic relief.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Oh, you know what? And I see something serious as a heart attack that we absolutely will do an episode on.
Yes, I've been looking for this. That's a flipper, man. That's awesome. Very cool.
I have it somewhere, but we'll have to fight for it because I don't know where my other copy is. But this is incredible.
There's a reissue at Copacetic that's like magazine size, and it comes from like 07 or something like that.
I believe the statute of limitations is up, Jim. But this was in the reference library at the Kubert School.
Oh, boy.
And I was like...
And it wasn't whenever you left?
None of these fuckers are going to appreciate this to the level that I will. So this will be coming home with me.
Oh, man. Well, hopefully that one's coming home with me, because I have been looking for a copy of that.
It's great. It talks about, like... It's all that practical stuff, like... how about you buy one of every nib, go home and draw some shit, draw some faces, and furthermore, maybe get a couple different... He uses, on Cerebus, he used illustration board, like crescent board, that real thick,
Right.
4 or 5 ply, stiff stuff. Get several different finishes of that. See what the fuck you like. Do not lock yourself in to the materials before you know what the heck is out there. This is great.
Always championing Gene Day, too.
Yeah.
Neat, man. It's crazy. Like, literally, I was looking at this week.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. So, very cool there.
All right, man. Let's see what we got here.
Bart Sears.
Are we really going to look through this?
No, I don't think we need to.
Shouts to Dave Lapham, but,
Yeah, not my favorite Lapham. I don't know who this is.
I bet they're affiliated with Neil Adams.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. Neil Adams penciling this. There's usually like somewhere his fingerprints are on a lot of these continuity books.
Yeah.
But different places.
Feels like that Three Musketeers ad.
Holler out anything that you want a closer look at, Ed. This is John Turturro is listed as a character. This is an adaptation of something written by Dan Harmon. So Dan Harmon is Community, but also was a Rob Schrab creative partner on some stuff like Heat Vision and Jack.
Oh, okay.
Ralph Snart.
None of that.
I'm going to examine this Eclipse Monthly for a second. See if there's something in here we need to point out.
Look at some Chaos comics. I have very little Chaos comics in my stacks, dude. And by little, I think 0. Because the Evil Ernie I have is from Eternity. That's cool. It looks like a comic that you would expect in the 90s.
This is pretty awesome. So this is Eclipse Monthly #1. And
I see some Ditko in that mix.
yeah, there is. We can do a quick flip through here.
And they don't open with the Ditko, which is interesting.
No,
which
but
should
that's pretty neat.
suggest that this is the better story.
Might be, might be. This is R.C. Boyer.
Yes, man. Masked Man. You can find that in many quarter bins.
Yeah, Eclipse is funny. So Rio, Doug Wildey. I'm always impressed by his stuff.
Yeah, it's
and
just beautiful drawing.
interesting phase. And this stuff's been reprinted and collected in various places. This is Trina Robbins. And I think this might be a classic public domain character that she's playing with on this. And then here's your Ditko in color. Pretty nice Ditko piece.
I would have opened with this.
Yeah, you'd think so, man. I forget who. Somebody recently I saw talking about Ditko, and might have been Dash Shaw talking about Ditko recently. This is interesting. Kent Williams. I would not have recognized that as Kent Williams, but this was, I guess, a backup in Saber #7. We're gonna have to look at Saber at some point. I like this art and ad a lot, but Kent Williams, David Cho had called out for his art standing out from Havoc and Wolverine. I remember him for that being very distinct and very outlandish compared to this kind of figure treatment. But recently I was looking at Saber original art by Billy Graham, and pretty nice stuff. All right. In case you guys didn't know, these are terrible.
Yeah.
Omaha #2. This is kind of a known underground comic, sort of adults. I guess furry characters, although it doesn't strike me as furries. I think some of it's autobio, maybe, like the writer. Dark Star, I believe this is Vigil.
Yeah, and it's such a weird comic because, no, it's from that period. But there are a million Dark Star comics, and like none of them ever have a number. Like they have different covers, and I don't even recognize the cover to this one.
No.
So there's at least like 3 covers to Dark Star #1.
This is bad. Like that's badass, man.
Oh yeah, it's dope.
It's real strong. This one's signed, this issue. But look at that. That's a great panel. This is good looking stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know this one either. Rebel Studios #4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
good.
a later issue. Razor and She special. See if anybody's.
We got
doing
Everett
this.
Hartso.
William Tucci with the first 18-page pencils. I don't like that art.
Some Billy Tucci in black and white. You don't see that often.
I don't know what this is. Do you know Millennium?
No.
John Bergen. John Bergen, I think, did something with Tundra and maybe did the intro to
I like
Crow.
what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. I need that stomach to pop.
I think it's going to happen,
I
right?
need that stomach to pop, boy. It better happen on the page turn, too. Oh,
That thing's cool looking.
it is cool.
I like the lettering there. Man, I like that art. Do you see how it's like this, like a vertical screen, some serious screen tones in there? I was just scanning screen tone sheets this week.
Part of your
Putting
processing?
them together. Yeah, no, part of the some of the stuff I sent to the printer. This is very reminiscent of Glamour Puss.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of neat. Interesting looking book I had not seen before. Gasp we've looked at. I have this. You can
Yeah, I
that.
have copies of that as well.
Zero Tolerance, I think, is worth a peek inside because of the Vigil Tim Tyler.
They right away they let you know that that president ain't a good guy.
What tips the scale? There's your zero tolerance dude with a lot going on, man. A lot.
Perfect outlaw hero of the 80s.
Wow. Scars, 3 colors of hair, different color 5 o'clock shadow.
All he needs is a cyborg hand.
Very fun. These James O'Barr and I'm setting some of this stuff aside in the I don't need it pile because I have it.
Yeah.
But some of this stuff is awesome. Like James O'Barr just didn't do that much stuff besides The Crow, and so anytime you get some good James O'Barr art, and this stuff's pretty top notch.
Yeah.
You know, it's worth noting. And like this story appeared in 2 or 3 different books at least. But what are you gonna do, man? You take what you can get. So Ed, I don't know if that's a shortage for you or not, but if not, we should throw that into the double pile to send out.
Yeah, sure, we have that. And here's Tom Palmer Jr.'s pick of the month. Rib.
Is he a worm or something? Is that
You know, he's literally a bone.
a bone?
A rib.
Jeez, got it. I feel like this whole book is a rib. All right, Black Ball Comics #1, Trencher era Keith Giffen.
The GIF.
This is another one. Like, cherish these pages because about 6 issues worth of this style exists.
As soon as he gets acclimated, he switches it up.
Yeah, these are just some of the stranger comics, and I think I've heard stories that he was just drawing these in ink,
Could believe it.
taking advantage of the market, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
And then Kevin O'Neill, Marshall, John Payne. Pretty cool. That's a good one too. I have it, but good stuff. Black Kiss. This is Howard Chaykin, original Black Kiss. And I don't know if you have these in originals, Ed, but they're weird. They're like 12 pages or something.
Right. Yeah, he was getting paid so much, and they could only afford, so many of his pages at Eclipse. So this was the compromise.
Yeah, this was some of my first Howard Chaykin work. And when we were looking at some of the Ho Che Anderson pages, I saw some similarities in certain page, like the black and white and the screen tones and stuff. Some of the graphic treatments. Not the graphic naked women stuff, but
Right.
the black and white and grayscale.
This is interesting. I've never seen a Penthouse comic. I would always hear about them.
Issue 32. So, like, it started out and it was a magazine, like
Right.
magazine size and all comics. Like, none of this. It was just comics. And now here we are, 32 issues in, which is crazy.
And they realize they have to sell this thing, man. So get some titties up front and then launch into the comic.
Mike Oeming, early Mike Oeming,
Yeah,
Dave Johnson.
Shouts to Mike Oeming, man. He's a kayfaber.
But always, it was always, I heard it described as a very good page rate.
Yeah, those dudes, man. Bob Guccione, what's his face? Hugh Hefner. They were cartoonists. Like they dug comics. We'll say that.
This is insane stuff. Like, do you know who this artist is? Do you recognize?
No, but they would always get high level dudes. Oh, this is the era, dude. The Pam and Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
The first sex tape. But
Mark Beecham.
oh, sick. The Mobius did a Batman story that had to be repurposed, and this is where it would have appeared.
Look, these are like centerfold pullouts, where the center, like there's several of them, so you could hang these up on the wall, Ed, with your prints.
Yeah, sure.
Jason Pearson.
Yeah, good call if it is, man.
So this is a long way from those early days of the Penthouse comics, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this was the adult strip that would run in the back of Penthouse, like in the 70s, that was in one of the Kramer's Ergos.
Right.
This might be it. I forget what it was. It might have been Wicked Wanda.
Yeah, that's it.
I could be wrong, but that looks a lot like that stuff. Book 4, Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters. Anybody that's not familiar with what these look like, there's your sample for that. Broken Halo is Tim Vigil.
Oh, I don't know this one.
Yeah, Tim Vigil art. I don't know if he's inking it.
Looks good on slick paper.
Yeah, it does. I tracked down a bunch of this stuff at some point, like wherever he would appear, and this could be a kind of a work for hire type deal.
Annie Fanny was the Playboy comic, Chris.
Yeah, I'm talking Penthouse.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
just talking about
Cover art and pencils, Tim Vigil. So somebody else doing the inks over them, but not too bad. Whoever's inking it's really trying hard.
They're
and
faithful.
It looks nice on the glossy paper for sure. Xenia I've never heard of. Sanctuary Press, 1994. not sure what to say about this. If you told me it was 1983 Pacific, I would believe you.
Sure. High contrast kind of artwork.
Yeah, pretty unusual.
Heavy blacks.
Underwater, Chapter 3.
Nice.
That's a good find. This is the unfinished Chester Brown, I don't know, epic. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's with some of the gospel adaptations.
Just like it took 3 issues to get Tyrant out of the egg,
Yes.
in this issue, we have words that can be read.
Yeah, anybody that doesn't know this series, like if you look at what's coming out, it doesn't make sense, but some words are starting to emerge. It's almost like you're learning language. So I think the conceit was that you were the baby, right?
Right, yeah.
Coming up. Yummy Fur 29. Hey, I recently realized I lost my Yummy Fur 16, so if the Kayfabe Nation wants to make my Yummy Fur whole again, I'm looking for issue 16. These are great. These are the I Never Liked You stories.
Yeah.
Just life-changing for me. And look at the page layouts, man. Wild. Great stuff. How's your Yummy Fur collection coming along?
They're very small, man. They just got a couple issues.
Good. So anytime issues come in, it's probably a good fill in some stuff. Thumpin' Guts, Simon Bisley, Kevin Eastman.
Love it.
Yeah. This
Love
is like early 90s kind of stuff. And again, in that Ronin Bebop, he talks a little bit about all of them. And I think they were just kind of cashing in on the early 90s.
Just pump out some shit, man.
What was going on there. Jim Ballant art here from the Darkness, book 2. Cry for Dawn, 1992. So this is Jim Ballant must have been doing Catwoman simultaneously, 1992.
Want to make some ducats on his own.
That's some serious drawing right there. Ballant's a Kubert School grad, right? Look at that.
He at least went there, yeah.
Dude's rendering the shit out of that, man. That's neat. This is great.
Yeah.
I have this, so Ed, it's your lucky day, man, because this is a fun one. There's some cool stuff in here. This is Mark Beecham, too, who I had asked about in that Penthouse issue. And this is perfect, because I wanted to do an episode on this book at some point for this story. So, one, that'd be great if it were a ninja, but it's not. That's just your light off the screen, I guess.
Right.
But here's why it's awesome. 8-bit Faust.
Oh, that's super
He's
cool.
playing a video game of Faust, and it's mixed in between, like, the real-life stuff, so you get the blood splatter, with like the 8-bit interpretation of the violence. Look at how great that is,
Yeah,
man.
that's amazing.
So bizarre. So love that. Pretty unusual. And then skip ahead and we have a story by Pittsburgh's own somewhere. Tom who did Black Lion?
Tom Reynolds.
Tom Reynolds, yes. So this is Tom Reynolds. I hate to point at this panel, but it's very like a Tank Girl-esque kind of line work, influenced, I think, probably by the Love and Rockets guys and Jamie Hewlett. It's strong cartooning,
70s
man.
anime, like he comes from all sorts of different influences.
Yeah, it's a really strong black and white style though that just sings in this book.
Yeah, shouts to Tom Wren, man. Haven't
you
seen him in
go.
a hot minute.
I don't know if I've ever met him, but I have seen his comics, and the ones I've seen have been good in this story too. Sam Keith. So this is pretty fun. And there's several of these. That's an anthology that ran for a few issues. And you were right, Night Vision is not interiors by Tim Vigil. Just the cover is Tim Vigil, and Hannibal King is on the art inside with David Quinn writing.
Yeah,
The,
Faust writer.
yeah. So kind of cool. And that might be, yeah, another Rebel issue. Den number 5. This is the full color Richard Corbin book. I think they did 10 issues. I'm looking for issues 9 and 10. These are amazing. These were published in the mid-'80s, self-published by Corbin.
Would these
Gorgeous.
Would these be reprinted from the heavy metal stories, like in a collected linear fashion? Or is this new material?
I think it's both.
The Kayfabers will know.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But I think it's both. But man, look at the way he colored stuff is just... It looks phenomenal now.
Yeah.
35 years later, it looks phenomenal. Oh, man. I want to do a dive into some of his publishing efforts from this time period because they're pretty impressive, and there's some neat stuff in the letters column and stuff. This is awesome.
This is a gem.
Yeah, I love this one. It has this story Slave Cylinder, which is, the reason that I like this book so much. And I think Slave Cylinder, we should do this as a double feature with that Animal Man issue that
Right.
Grant Morrison wrote that
Right.
features Wile E. Coyote, because, it's just great. Great drawing, man. Look at the drawing. It's so strong.
And it's so different from your typical James O'Barr, which is very, very heavy on the blacks. Like we're seeing more line work here.
100% cartoon animals.
Yeah.
It's so out there. Yeah, I dig this story, and I think this may have appeared in color in Tundra's Bonesaw anthology, which I've never seen in person. But again, Kayfabers, if you know that to be true or false, let us know. Yeah, this is one of my favorite James O'Barr comics, so very good. Definitely something to add to our send it out.
Bags, yeah.
Hart D. Fisher craziness in here. Hart D. Fisher, because that's Hartso and Tim Tyler. A lot of Tim Tyler in today's episode.
Yeah. Hart D. Fisher is in the ringside seats.
Ed McGuinness.
Wow.
Early Ed McGuinness.
Maybe the first.
Everett Hartso writing and Ed McGuinness drawing. You can see little shades of Ed McGuinness style in
some of
there.
that thick line, little cartooniness.
And I think this is anthology. I don't think he's drawing this whole book. Wow, I don't know.
Polito writing.
Leonardo Jimenez. That's a strong layouts, man.
Very, very outlaw.
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I could do better finding where these artists are, because I like this stuff too. But don't see credits.
That looks like a Scott Hampton type of style.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't do shit for...
This is Hart D. Fisher, and I'm assuming it's all of it. It's the only name listed there. So, Hart D. Fisher, Boneyard Press, right? I get Everett Hartso and Hart D. Fisher confused.
Right.
But, obviously outlaw creator, outlaw publisher.
Sold a lot of shirts that said Marvel can suck my cock, I believe.
Yeah. Kind of neat, man. I like that. That's good stuff. EO, this is Tim Vigil. Some people consider this to be his, magnum opus. Unfinished. 2 issues done of this.
There it is.
But look at that.
Yeah. He talks about it extensively in the shoot interview that we did with him that just celebrated its 1-year anniversary a couple days ago, man.
It is graphic. Look at even the stuff that's not obscene. He really was going for it art-wise, man. This is some of his finest art, I think, without a doubt. And I think he says so too. Very proud of this work. So
I don't have issue 2.
That's awesome, man. That's a fun one. Fun one to look at. I recently picked up Poison Elves #1.
Yeah.
This is issue number 5 here. That's one of those books that comes out of that 90s. I think of it as like Spirits of Independence era and of that Cerebus vein in certain ways.
Right, because it's elves and shit, Elf Quest type stuff.
Yeah, and it even has that one issue's part of a big epic. A lot of stuff that I link to that. But people always say, look through this book, read this book, because it's not a book I've read. So I may rectify that at some point, because I have picked up a couple issues in the recent past. I don't think I have that one. Gunfighters in Hell is Joe Vigil.
Right.
Do you have these, Ed?
I have 1 or 2 issues. I don't know that I have this one.
Yeah, I have these, so this will go to you. But this is great. This is Joe Vigil, Tim Vigil's brother. Tim might even be inking some of this or part of this. This was a cool series that I got whenever it was coming out in the 90s. And this is what that Leonard Nimoy Primordial or
Technophage.
Yeah, whatever that is, that's what it should look like. Dude nailed to the wall, sideways crucifixed on a bloody pentagram.
Very inspiring.
Cool guns. This is good stuff. That's a good series. 5 issues of this. I think one of them might be a little bit speed rushed, but for the most part, pretty strong stuff.
Some Avatar Vigil.
Avatar doing some Faust. Working with an inker here, and this is a crossover with that 777 Wraith.
Yeah, not Primo Vigil.
But recognizable. And probably stuff that people know Vigil for, because Avatar maybe had a little better distribution. Fallout 3000 Caliber. I don't know this.
It intrigues me.
Mike Diodato, Jr. and Senior. So Diodato, who went on to do a lot of Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And I think Wonder Woman too, maybe. Did some stuff at Caliber early on.
Yeah, they were brought here. That Dave Campiti guy became their agent.
Yeah. These are nice looking pages. It's a lot of work, man. Kill them all. Destroy the terrestrials. It's a nice looking book. Like the layouts and stuff in there are great. And you want to hit that?
Yeah, sure.
Steve Bissette cover on Mr. Monster. So good, always. And I've picked up several Mr. Monsters. Look at this, whatever's happening. We talk about lettering. Like, how about that for some creative lettering?
That's very much Walt Kelly inspired stuff, with that chisel tip.
But Michael T. Gilbert does some very interesting stuff in Mr. Monster. It also eventually reprints some like public domain comics and things. Eventually, some very noteworthy ones like Jack Cool horror comics, the Morphine Murder and Me famous Comics Code, pre-Comics Code, offensive comic is reprinted in one, and some of Bob Powell's sci-fi comics that are just gorgeously drawn. And Basil Wolverton here. So these are nice comics. Usually definitely some stuff worth your time. You know what, man? I like this guy's art, and I don't think I think I've seen it on like a cover of something.
What's the name?
Jeffrey Bonavert, but it's very like odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did a. I'm not gonna think of the name, but it's like Doctor something. Will Eisner ad, and what Evil Ernie is this like some later series?
They always fuck it up, right? Because
1993?
especially because it's like it's issue 1 fever time, so they always bury the fucking name of the miniseries, right? So you have to crack it open and you have to look there, and it's called Evil Ernie: The Resurrection #1. Now, we fuck with Steve Hughes, man.
Yeah,
so
like
so
Steve
that's
Hughes.
so that's what you do when you go dig in the quarter bins. You pull these out, take a look on the inside cover. If Steve Hughes is doing the art, buy it. Buy
Yeah,
it
I'm
if it's
with you.
affordable.
Weird color, man. Like that green's a pretty unusual choice here.
Yeah, all the color here is kind of interesting. Like maybe this is one of their early forays in color. I just don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Evil Ernie was first a black and white comic, but the gang's all here. There she is, Lady Death.
Yeah, it's almost the pre and post Lady Death is kind of the Chaos Comics story in a lot of ways. I mean, I guess she shows up in that first Evil Ernie miniseries and then just explodes. She's almost like Sable in WWE or something. But Stephen Hughes was a good artist, man. I like his stuff.
Yeah, take it from us far too early.
Yeah. All right. What a pile of comics, man.
Yeah, man, we got to go divvy these things up, man, but we'll do it off cam because we know some people in these comics. They might feel salty if they're the last one picked in gym class, man. So, do you want to shout some thanks, man, to that Kickstarter?
Yeah, thanks again to everybody that helped spread the word or backed or supported or shared for the Octobrion in 1976 Kickstarter. I am overjoyed, and I thank all of you for that. And if you missed the boat, I am going to have pre-orders set up at some point soon, if not already, on there. So that'll be coming to the Kickstarter page, so you'll be able to keep up with it there.
The gears are grinding and the books are being printed, man.
Yes, they are. I can't wait.
In the meantime, it's going to be a little while before my comic sees a in print, on paper, comic format version of Red Room, but I'm serializing the pages for early adopters on my Patreon, patreon.com/edpiskor. $3 get you the archive. Every Tuesday I put up new pages of the story. At this moment, there's about 24 pages live, and I sprinkle in some behind-the-scenes material throughout the week. So that's super cool. Patreon.com/edpiskor. Got to like, follow, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. How cool was it, all the shoot interviews we did lately, man? But we got
Keeping us busy, man.
But we got comic episodes that we got to put out into the universe as well, and you want to mitigate that kayfabe effect. So you hit the bell icon, we notify you immediately when the vids are available, and you could take a quick look, take a quick gander, fast forward if you need to see if that book is something you want, because if you sleep on it for even 10 minutes, the prices on eBay are going to be double what they were 10 minutes prior.
We've been hearing some stories.
Yeah.
All right, and subscribe to the e-newsletter at the link below this video to stay up to date with whatever we have going on. And you can find Cartoonist Kayfabe merchandise and t-shirts at the links below this video.
Jimmy, I got our trusty quarter. We got to go flip for comics, man, but we better get the fuck out of here, do this shit in private, give them the marching orders, and we'll bounce.
Read more comics.